Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after a 3-0 Texas Rangers win over the Tampa Bay Rays. Much needed victory for the Rangers. We're going to get into it in just a little bit here, all the highlights and all of the key moments in the game, the scoring, box score review, all that good stuff here in just a little bit. Of course, first, y'all here at Right on Rangers, we cover pretty much everything sports, MLB, NFL, NBA. But during baseball season, it's a lot of Texas Rangers baseball. And we cover all the teams we love from the great state of Texas here. Thank you so much for watching, whether you're live, whether you're on the replay. Appreciate you tuning in. A lot of Rangers content out there. Thanks for choosing us. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. Much, much easier to get on these lives and do this with you guys after a Rangers win. But we're here, rain or shine, win or loss. And this was a big win for the Rangers. If you would have lost tonight, Rangers lose tonight, they would have dropped 10 games under 500. I've been a pretty big voice in if the Rangers drop 10 games under at any point at this moment, at this time in the season, I can't say I feel super confident, super comfortable with the prospects of them making the playoffs. I mean, right now, as it is, it's already probably less than a 50-50 proposition. I mean, I don't know. I would love to see. I'm sure there's some kind of market out there, Rangers odds, betting odds to make the playoffs. If any of y'all get bored and happen to look it up, let me know what they are. I'll see if I can do it live here. But I would imagine it's not 50-50, right? You're not getting even money for a Rangers bet to make the playoffs. You're probably getting underdog money at this point. But I've always kind of said if the Rangers drop 10 games below 500, it's probably a death sentence at this point. Now, anything's possible in baseball. We try and balance out eternal optimist, which is the type of fan that I am. Eternal optimist, glass is always half full. Mathematically, obviously, there's times when you're absolutely eliminated and out of it, and you move forward from there. But right now, the Rangers are far from eliminated from playoff contention. There is a chance. And even if the Rangers drop 10 games below 500, there is a chance they could still make the playoffs. I do think unless you get on some kind of crazy streak during the season, unless you get on some kind of wild streak, I'm talking 8-9 games in a row, one, maybe a double-digit win streak, it becomes very difficult when you drop 10 games below and you're past the halfway point of the season, right? So Rangers avoided that. They bounced back up to 8 games below 500. And it's important that the Rangers finish these next 8 games strong. So today, going into today, the Rangers had 9 games left before the All-Star break. We said at the beginning of this week, Rangers really needed to go 8-4 this week, if at all possible. 8-4. So you win tonight. Rangers are now 2-2 this week. We're going to do some mental math here, so bear with us. But you basically need to, at this point, go 6-2 over the next 8 games. Still a little bit of a big ask, right? Rangers going 6-2 down the stretch. You've got the Astros, you've got the Angels coming up, and the Rays are not going to lay over the rest of this series this weekend. They're not going to lay down. They're a tough team. They didn't obviously have their A game tonight offensively. And the Rangers pitchers probably had a lot to do with that. Mike Lorenzen pitched well tonight, did have 5 walks. We'll get into his performance in a little bit here. But of course, Kirby Yates, David Robertson at the back end. When you run into those guys, it is a buzzsaw. So, look, Rays didn't have their A game tonight offensively. The pitching from Boz was obviously pretty good. The bullpen pitched pretty well also for the Rays. This was a very prototypical Rangers win. Now, the Rangers, they do win a lot of games when they score 7 runs or more, 6 runs or more. But when the Rangers don't score a lot in a game, 6, 7 runs, this is the way they win. They get out to an early lead. Their starting pitching holds it and hands it off to the bullpen. And then they give it over to Robertson and Yates to shut it down. This is the blueprint for the Rangers to win. Get ahead early and don't relinquish the lead. The bullpen holds it the rest of the game. Very, very prototypical 2024 Texas Rangers win. The Rangers are not built to play from behind this year. They were last year, but the Rangers have not won a lot of games from behind this year. And when I say that, I'm mainly talking about behind in the 7th, 8th, 9th innings. The Rangers need to have a lead by the 5th or the 6th inning in order for them to have a chance to win ball games consistently. That's what this team is this year. If they're not ahead and it's the 7th inning or later, they're probably not going to win. That is what their record says. I believe they only have 2 or 3 wins when they trail in the 7th inning or later this year. I don't know what their record was in the same category last year. Would be curious to see it. But this is how the Rangers win ball games. They get out to an early lead and they hand it off to the dominant guys at the back end of the bullpen. So let me check comments real quick. Alejandro, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thank you. Rangers did win today, 3-0. Love to see that. Good to get back on a winning note after the Rangers dropped the last 2 of their 3-game set with the Padres. Probably could have won that series. We said that yesterday. The Padres series was a winnable series for the Rangers. Tuesday, I think the game was theirs for the taking. They didn't take advantage of it, and they ended up losing the series. They ran into a really good pitcher yesterday in Michael King. He pretty much shut them down, and the Rangers weren't able to tack on runs late, which, as we've kind of been talking so far in the live today, that is a problem with this team. And look, they didn't score runs late today. They didn't score any runs beyond the 3rd inning, right? You had Nate Lowe. Actually, let's go in order. Corey Seager with a big clutch 2-out RBI double in the 3rd inning to score 2. And you had Nate Lowe scoring Seager on a single with 2 outs in the next at bat. That was the scoring for the Rangers today. 3rd inning, 2 outs. Corey Seager, 2-out, 2 RBI double. Nate Lowe, RBI single, 3-0, and that's the game. So it's real easy to break this one down from a scoring perspective. The only runs scored were in 1 inning. So the Rangers, again, prototypical win. Absolutely love to see the Rangers getting it done. Doesn't matter how they get it done. We'll take it. It doesn't need to be a big blowout, 9-10 runs scored. We'll take a 3-0 victory at this point, 100%. David, thank you so much. So nice of you to join. Really appreciate your comment, buddy. Keep on watching. Thanks, dude. All right, let's keep on rolling. So we've got a few other things going on. I know, man. I appreciate you. Hey, you know what? All comments are welcome. Pretty hard to hurt our feelings here at Right On Rangers. Let's get into the box score. All right, let's get into it. Let's see what we got going on. There's not going to be a lot, just being honest with you guys. The Rangers didn't score a lot, didn't have a ton of hits today. There definitely were some base runners, but you know what? The positive, like I was just saying, Rangers got a W. We're going to try not to get too picky today. I know that sometimes we do after a loss. For me, this isn't a game where you get too picky with any one player. Let's just go through and recap for you. We have a couple of little things that we're going to point out here and there along the way in this one, but we're pretty much going to dwell on the positives tonight and then get into the matchup tomorrow. So Marcus Semien, let's talk about him. Marcus Semien. He was benched yesterday. I mean, let's be nice. Marcus Semien was given a day off yesterday. And it looks like it helped today. Semien 1 for 4. I feel like he did hit the ball hard almost every at bat. It seemed like a few were kind of right at guys. I think his first at bat in the bottom of the first was kind of one of those weak pop-ups, but he did have some loud outs in this one. And of course, with 2 outs, Marcus Semien in the bottom of the 3rd continues the inning, which sets up the big Corey Seager 2-out RBI double and the Nate Lowe RBI single with 2 outs. So Marcus Semien, big reason why the Rangers scored in the bottom of that 3rd inning. Had a hard line drive to right field, and Semien was able to prolong that inning and get Corey Seager up. You guys know, who have been watching for a while, a big thing that I have railed on with Marcus Semien is the inability with 2 outs to extend innings, to get Corey Seager up to the plate. That's something that I've wanted to see Marcus Semien get better at. Look, at this point, you'll just take Semien getting hits. But Marcus Semien extending the inning with 2 outs to get to Corey Seager has been an issue this year. So to see Marcus Semien in the bottom of that third with 2 outs and a runner on, RBI, excuse me, I keep saying RBI, I'm getting ahead of myself. Marcus Semien, line drive right field, prolonging the inning. Corey Seager comes out with the 2-out RBI. And then Nate Lowe comes up and gets it done too. So Marcus Semien, 1 for 4 with the run scored. Glad to see him getting on base. Positive from Semien. 1 for 4, we'll take it. Corey Seager, 1 for 3 with a walk. 2 RBI. Corey Seager with the game-winning RBI today. It was in the third inning, and it ended up standing. It goes down as a game-winning RBI. He'll take it. We'll take it. Seager on base twice. And Seager has quietly, I just feel like it's quiet. Maybe some of y'all feel like it's a little bit louder. But I feel like Corey Seager's quietly just having a really, really nice past week. And as we look at Corey Seager's stats, last 7 games hitting .360, 9 for 25 with 2 walks, only 5 strikeouts in that stretch. And don't know how many extra base hits he has, but I know that last game, or it was a couple games ago, he had a double. So Corey Seager's hitting for extra base hits right now. Does have a home run in his last 7 games. Corey Seager, when he's hitting extra base hits, it starts getting dangerous quickly. So Siegs hitting .360 in his last 7 games. Feel like Siegs might be heating up, and it is the perfect time. The Rangers need Corey Seager getting hot. This is the time. This is do or die. You guys have heard the quotes from CY, from Chris Young. This is the time. We don't have time to lose series and to go 500 over a 2-week stretch. We need to start going 8-4. We need to start going 9-3 over a 2-week stretch. It's not the time to play 500 baseball anymore. So Corey Seager getting hot, we will absolutely take it 100%. Frankie, what's up, buddy? I'm trying to check comments as much as I can, guys. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate the support, bud. Hope you're having a good week and a good weekend so far. Let me keep going, though, with this lineup. So we went through Corey Seager's numbers last 7 games. Nate Lowe has been promoted to this 3 spot, and he seems to be liking it. Nate Lowe, of course, started out the season in the 3-hole spot, and I think that this is a place the Rangers would like to see Nate Lowe hit in. Obviously, they started him out there at the beginning of the year, kind of a tell. I think the Rangers would like to see Nate Lowe claim this 3-hole spot. Now, Josh Smith, night off. I think obviously he's going to be up at the top of the order. But the beginning of the year, I think the Rangers' plan was Nate Lowe, 3-hole hitter. And he looked like it tonight, coming through with the clutch RBI single in the bottom of the third. Nate Lowe, last 7 games, .370 average, 10 for 27, 3 home runs, 9 RBI. Now, this is the power hitting first baseman that we've needed all along this season. Nate Lowe said, I don't know if y'all caught it, Nate Lowe said, don't give up on us, stick with us. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to take him at his word. And I'm going to hope that Nate Lowe continues this great streak that he's on. .370 over his last 7 games. .321 over his last 15 games. .291 over his last 30. Look, it's hard to deny those stats when you look at them on paper. You know, we obviously do eye test here, and I know y'all do too at home. Just kind of like, what do you feel like? How do you feel like he's really hitting? How does he look up there at the plate? Look, I got to be honest. I got to admit, I'm a little bit surprised by these numbers, especially over the last 30 games. Look, he's been hot last 7, no doubt. Nate Lowe has been on fire last 7 games. But collectively over the last 30, I wouldn't have said 290. But Nate Lowe, there he is, hitting 290 over his last 30 games. This is the kind of performance that we can handle from Nate Lowe. Did the Rangers beat the Reds earlier this year? Didn't we win that series? Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. But I do appreciate the comment. Thank you for tuning in. Just got to speak some facts into existence, though. Now, back to what we were going through with the box score review. Let's go through Wyatt Langford's day. Doley went over 3 with a walk. He got picked off or caught stealing, I guess, in the 9th inning. Looked like if he would have been safe, Wyatt Langford probably ends up driving him in. That was unfortunate. Wyatt goes 1 for 4 with the single in the 9th. Jonah Heim, 2 for 4. I got to admit, the 2 guys that I probably, beyond Garcia, railed on the most in terms of needing to get hot or at least just hit 250, right? Throw out the window getting hot. Can you just hit 250? The 2 guys are Jonah Heim and Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe holding up his end. Jonah Heim coming around a little bit. His last 7 games, Jonah Heim hitting 273. Very respectable. Now, if we look at his last 15 and last 30, I don't know if we would be saying that same thing. Last 15, Jonah Heim hitting 234. Last 30, Jonah Heim hitting 192. But the last 7 games for Jonah Heim, 273, very respectable. We'll take it. We will take it. He's got 6 hits and 22 at-bats. He's got an RBI. Jonah Heim, if we can get him hitting 250 every night, 1 for 4, I will take that from Heim. Absolutely will take that from Jonah Heim every night. I know last year, all-star starter, 95 RBI from Jonah Heim. I get it. But at the same time, we still need a little bit of production. It doesn't have to be 95 RBI, but feel like we need something from Jonah Heim. No doubt. Hey, appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, if you are watching right now, you haven't followed, you haven't subscribed yet, would really appreciate it. Stay up to date anytime we go live. Pretty much after every Rangers game, we're here talking Rangers baseball. We talk pretty much everything in MLB by the end of the show. So, hey, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. And thank you. We'll forgive the Yankees part, but I do appreciate you tuning in. Hey, big Yankees fan right here. Whenever they're playing the Astros or pretty much anybody in division, we'll take it. That is about the one time I'll be cheering for the Yankees. But I appreciate you being here, bud. Thank you. Let's see here. What else we got? You look like you always use your blinker. I got to admit, I definitely do use my blinker a lot of the times. Out of guilty. I don't know. Good observation, I guess. Hey, let's get back on track. Hey, we're doing better with the comments today. Sometimes I get caught up in a rant and it's just like totally out of sight, out of mind with the comments. We're doing better right now. Always trying to up our game here at Right On Rangers. All right, Leote. Let's talk Leote. 1 for 4 today. So I've also said for Leote, can we just get on base 1 time a game? I don't need multi-hit. I don't need to. Give me 1 on base per game from Leote. And that's what he did tonight. 1 for 4. Love it. Seager and Ornelas with the doubles tonight. I think they had the only extra base hit, Seager and Ornelas. Ornelas was in the later innings. And I believe Siegs was the 3rd inning RBI double, the game-winning RBI. So Derek Hill, 1 for 3 as well. So look, the bottom of the order, 7, 8, 9 tonight goes 4 for 10. You'll take that from 7, 8, 9. My goodness, 4 for 10 from your 7, 8, 9 hitters. Let's go. Let's go. Last night, it was like 0 for 11. 0 for 11 last night. But I'll take this 7, 8, 9. Tavares, Hill, Ornelas. Here we go. So Ornelas, look, he's hitting 333 now on the year. I don't think he's going to hang around once Josh Young gets back, but I'm glad to see him making the most of his opportunity. Y'all know how painful it was when Davis Wenzel was playing 3rd base, and not so much out in the field, but when he was getting at bats, it was just not pretty. I know he had a couple of hits before he got demoted to AAA, but I'm glad that Ornelas is up, and I'm glad that he is doing better from that position than what we had with Wenzel. Josh Smith, by the way, I don't know if anybody heard. I'm just assuming routine maintenance day with Josh Smith. Assuming. But I don't know. Maybe just a little bit beat up, a little bit sore, tired, whatever. I can only guess that's what it was. I didn't hear anything official. If any of y'all did, let me know in the comments. But with Josh Smith getting an off day today, great opportunity for Ornelas to show off what he's got. And 2 for 3 tonight from the 9-hole. We'll take that. Run scored as well. I mean, he actually was the one that got that third inning going. And I believe it was, I think, 2 outs, right? It was base hit Ornelas, base hit Simi, base hit Seager, base hit Lowe. 4 straight base hits in the bottom of that third inning. You got to love that 2-out rally. You got to love it. Let me see here. When are the Mariners going to win the World Series? Shoot. For the longest time, I actually really rooted for the Mariners to win the World Series whenever the Rangers were out. It's hard now. The Mariners are a really good elite team, in my opinion. So, look, if the Rangers aren't in it, the Rangers are out, and the Mariners are left, I can't say that I'm not going to cheer for the Mariners. I do like when teams get their first one. The Rangers had never won a World Series. They won it last year. Mariners have never won one. Look, this is a good window for them. If they can get past the Astros and they can get past the Rangers, this is a good window for them. They got a good quality ball club right now. Tommy, what's up, my friend? Thanks for tuning in. So they said Smith had discomfort in his glutes. That is what the report is. Sore butt, basically. All right. Sore butt for Josh Smith. Well, I appreciate the reporting. If that's really what it is, I mean, I guess take the time, man. Get right. Rest that butt. Get a little massage. Put some ice on it. And let's get you back for this weekend series. We need Josh Smith back in the lineup, sore butt or not. We need that dude's bat to win these next 2 games. Y'all, I don't want to get greedy, but a sweep would just be so nice this weekend. I don't want to get greedy. I'm not trying to sit here and say this one game right now for the Rangers is going to catapult them into a 10-game winning streak. I'm just saying a sweep would be so nice this weekend. You sweep the Rays and you get back on track with that 8-4 that we were talking about going into the All-Star break. You got a difficult series coming up next weekend in Houston. The Angels, I think, are going to give us a good series. I definitely am not taking the Angels for granted. I'm a big Ron Washington fan and believer. I think he's going to have that team ready to go pretty much every series they play. That's not to say they're not going to lose some games, but Ron Washington is going to have the Angels ready to play the Rangers, ready to play his former team. You know it. Anytime you play your former team, coach against your former team, it doesn't matter if it's the same guys that were there when you were, which in Wash's case, there's nobody, but you want to impress. You want to impress against your former team. So I really, really feel like the Rangers can't take any games for granted down the road here. Dude, really? You really think I'm that slow? Come on. I really feel like you got to give me a little bit more credit than this. That's all I'm going to say about this comment. Give me a little more credit. I'm not that oblivious. I can read and sound things out in my head before I say them. Come on now. You got to do better than that one. I'm just saying. Do a little bit better. All right. Tommy, appreciate all the comments today. Hey, anytime I hear it's true after I say something, it's much appreciated. And you know what? The Rangers, they just are not going to be able. They're not going to be able to really take any teams for granted. I mean, the Angels, any team they've got coming up, I'm not even sitting around anymore saying, like, you know, hey, this is going to be an easy series for us. Are you guys? I mean, I'm not sitting around when I look at the schedule and saying, oh, yeah, this is going to be an easy series for the Rangers. I don't think there's any easy series with this team. I don't think there's any easy series. I at one point, I think, did that this year with the Rangers. They were, in fact, World Series champions last year. So I think it was fair to do that and just look at the opponent look at the team that we had or that we thought we were and say, okay, yeah, this series coming up, we're playing the A's. It's going to be an easy series, or it's going to be a series that most likely we're going to win. I don't really do that anymore with this team. I take it game by game. I hope that they win series. I hope that they still sweep series. I don't really do that anymore now that I've gotten to see 88 games of Rangers baseball in 2024. Every series, I'm not sure if the Rangers are going to win it or not. I obviously always can see a path for them to win it, even against really quality competition. I can always see a path for the Rangers to win series. Just, is it going to happen or is it not? Are the Rangers going to show up and hit the ball? Are the pitchers going to be what we need them to be, which unfortunately is really, really elite right now? Look, the pitching staff gave up 0 runs today. So Corey Seager is going to get a lot of the love with the RBI double, 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Let's give some love to the pitching staff. Mike Lorenzen, 5 walks in 5 innings, 1 hit. So 6 base runners in 5 innings. If you just think about it that way, really a pretty solid start from Lorenzen. Side note, the walks are concerning. And you feel like with Mike, he's always had that 3-4 walk type game when he comes out on the mound for the Rangers. I think it's pretty rare you see a 0 or 1 walk game from Lorenzen. I'm sure he has some starts where that's happened, but I feel like most of Mike Lorenzen's starts, you're getting 3 walks minimum, 2 or 3 minimum. I don't feel like he's a guy that really can go 0, 1 walk consistently, just from what I've seen from him. Now, look, he knows how to bear down. Clearly, he did it tonight. He got into multiple jams that he worked himself out of. Very like Evo-esque, if you know what I mean. Nate Eovaldi, I think, is the king of that. He'll walk a couple of guys. Sometimes I even feel like it's intentional. Hey, their best hitter's up. I'm not giving him. I'm going to walk this guy, get to the next guy, and get out of the jam. That's how Evo works. I think Lorenzen's got a little bit of that in him. Lorenzen also with 4 Ks tonight. 4 Ks in 5 innings. That's another thing you don't see from Mike a lot. You don't see 4 or 5 strikeouts. It's usually 2, 3. He's a pitch to contact guy. Let's give Mike Lorenzen some love. 5-4 now on the season. Not that pitching record is everything, but good to see a Rangers starting pitcher with a positive win-loss record. I think Evo has one. Mike Lorenzen has one. Andrew Heaney, they've absolutely just crapped on his starts in terms of offensive production. So I think he's still like 3-9. Poor Andrew Heaney. But Mike Lorenzen, at least he's got a positive record. Jose Leclerc comes in. Never a doubt with Leclerc. Am I right? Never a doubt with Jose Leclerc. 1 hit, 1 walk. Leclerc's just got to have some base runners on in order for him to pitch effectively, it feels like. And as I always say with Jose Leclerc, you might know what I'm about to say next, never a clean inning, allergic to a clean inning when it comes to Jose Leclerc. We love him. He's pitched a lot of very, very high leverage situations for the Rangers over the past 2 years. I am not a Leclerc hater. I know there's a lot of Rangers fans out there, Leclerc haters. I'm not one of them. I like Leclerc. I want to see him do well. He always has to make things interesting. I can't say, though, with a 3-0 lead, even when he allowed a few guys on base, I can't say I was sweating the Leclerc outing at all. Really wasn't. Now, the Lats appearance, I was sweating out. In fact, that was the one thing in this game that really got me triggered. I just did not understand why you're putting in Jacob Latz in a 3-0 game, in a game that you really needed. You did not want to drop 10 games under 500 with a loss and lose your 3rd straight. And the Rangers almost got snake bit by the Jacob Latz insertion into the lineup. I did not love the move. For me, I want Latz appearing in low leverage spots. I know that Latz is the only lefty. Brock Burke was demoted to AAA. Don't know if y'all caught that, but Brock Burke demoted to AAA. Latz is the only lefty at this point. Andrew Heaney and Cody Bradford are probably going to be joining him in the bullpen at some point. But Latz is the only lefty. I don't care if they were trying to match up lefty-lefty. They did that the last time Latz came into a big pressure spot. And as far as I'm concerned, 3-run lead or less, it's a pressure spot, right? It's a save situation. For Latz, it was a hold situation. I don't think that Latz right now needs to be appearing in 3-run or less lead situations. Can we get him some work when we're down maybe 3 or 4 runs? Can we get him some work when we're up 4 or 5? I don't want to see Jacob Latz right now in a hold or a save situation. I would have loved if Leclerc would have maybe come out and done a second inning. You know how I feel about multiple innings. I don't love when we make our guys go multiple innings. I think like the 4-out save or the 4-out hold like Robertson did tonight is okay. But when we try and get 2 innings straight up out of guys, I don't love that. I would have rather Leclerc gone a second inning than Jacob Latz appeared. And look, Latz did well after the 2 straight walks to get outs. He did well. But I'm glad that Robertson came in to get that 3rd and final. Because you'll remember in the 10th inning against Milwaukee, this is last week, Latz got 2 quick outs and then ended up giving up the game, right? I was kind of thinking and having some bad flashbacks to that moment. Latz had 2 outs, 2 runners on, and when they came out to get him and bring in Robertson, I was relieved. And it worked out great. Robertson gets the 4-out hold. It was actually 5 outs, a wild pitch, strike 3 on, I believe, Jose Siri. So Robertson actually got 5 outs tonight, but he gets the 4-out hold, only gives up 1 hit, 2 strikeouts for Robertson. And then Kirby Yates comes in, strikes out 2, doesn't allow a base runner. Kirby Yates down to an 0.89 ERA. 2 guys that deserve to be, and look, I'm actually unfamiliar. I was trying to look it up before I got on the live. How do they determine relief pitchers for the All-Star game? If anybody knows off the top of their heads, let me know. How do they determine relief pitchers? Is it manager? Is it commissioner's office? Because you don't vote on it, right? You don't vote on relief pitchers. How do they determine that? If you know, let me know. I feel like I should know this. Maybe I'm just drawing a blank. But my point in bringing that up is David Robertson and Kirby Yates should be all-stars. Kirby Yates has an 0.89 ERA. I don't know how many saves he's blown this year. I'm going to try and look it up right now, if at all possible. But Kirby Yates has had an all-star season. So Kirby Yates is 12 for 12 in save opportunities. 12 for 12. He has 1 loss. So didn't get a blown save, but I think he came in a tie game situation. But Kirby Yates is 12 for 12 in save opportunities. He also has 2 holds before he was the closer. So for all intents and purposes, Kirby Yates has 14 appearances where he's come in and preserved a lead for the Rangers in the late innings. Kirby Yates deserves to be an all-star. I also think David Robertson deserves to be an all-star. Look, I think it's commissioner's office, coaches kind of make the relief pitcher decisions. I got to think David Robertson and Kirby Yates have got to be in the All-Star game. Robertson, a little bit more shaky with the save opportunities. I believe he's blown 5 saves this year. He does have 17 holds. So Robertson is 17 or 18 for 23 basically in lead preserving opportunities, 18 for 23. So there's been 5 games where Robertson has blown a lead. And here's the other things, though, that I'll say I look at with Robertson to still justify an all-star appearance. 102 whip. You're basically allowing 1 base runner an inning. 189 average against. So hitters are hitting 189 against Robertson. That's incredible. Kirby Yates, I think, has an even more dominant average against. Kirby Yates, opponents are hitting 130 off Kirby Yates. Those 2 guys at the back end of the bullpen, the Rangers' win-loss record when they hand it off to those guys is impeccable. I really think both of them need to be all-stars. 100%. Gio, what's up, my friend? Thanks for tuning in. They got to win the next two. I really feel that way. If they win 2 out of 3 against the Rays, I think you got to call that a win. I just really feel like they have got to sweep this series to keep positive momentum. Look, if you win 2 out of 3, you'll take it. You'll take 2 out of 3. But then you're putting more pressure on yourself. You really need, in one of these weeks, either this week or next week, in one of these weeks before the All-Star break, you have got to go on a good run. So if you're not going to go 4-2 this week, you have definitely got to go 4-2 next week. You can't just keep kicking the can playing 500 baseball when you're this far back in both the wild card and the division race. And I think the Rangers are actually closer to the division right now than they are to the wild card. At one point, that wasn't true, but at this point, I think the wild card is so convoluted with just the array of good teams in the AL. I mean, look, everybody in the AL East, I think, has a better record than the Rangers do. Isn't that wild? I think I looked this up yesterday. Every team in the AL East, maybe the Blue Jays don't. Every other team in the AL East has a better record than the Rangers, the Rays included in that. So the wild card is not going to be a foregone conclusion. I think that the Rangers, maybe as it gets closer to the end of the season, that'll become more clear. But the AL is very, very competitive this year. We'll see what happens. The Rangers, they just have to get on a winning streak. You have got to start winning at more than a 50% clip. At this point, you do, especially with the trade deadline looming. My big point yesterday, I know a lot of people were busy for the 4th, rightfully so. We got on, did a quick, by Right on Rangers standards, live appearance. I'm just be happy if the Rangers are not sellers at the deadline, right? I'll be happy if they play well enough just to hold on to the guys that they have. You feel me? Like, I'll be happy if they don't have to really contemplate trading Nate Eovaldi, trading Andrew Heaney, trading Mike Lorenzen, trading David Robertson. I'll be happy if the Rangers just play well enough to not be sellers. For a while there, I was saying, I hope we play well enough to be buyers. I just hope the Rangers play well enough over the next, maybe 20 games before the trading deadline, not to be sellers. I think that's got to be the goal. I would love to see Evo stick around for next year. I've said it, and I know other Rangers media personalities have said it too. You guys know I listen to a lot of Jared Sandler, media Rangers radio host, and he brought up a good point. 2025, the Rangers, I think, have a chance to be more competitive than they are this year. And I'm saying that like at the onset of this year. Like, I think a lot of people thought the Rangers were going to be competitive in 2024, right? Nobody thought they were going to be 10 games, 9 games under 500. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought at this point in the season the Rangers were going to be 10 games under, 8 games. You know what I mean? So I think if you consider the start of 2024 this year, the start of 2025 next year, I think the Rangers had a better chance in 2025 than they did at the beginning of 2024, because you're going to get a full year of DeGrom. I think you felt like Evo, who, if he hits an innings mark, I think it's like 155 innings over the whole season, or 150 or something like that, Evo gets a player option for next year. You got to think Evo probably wants to stick around here. I can only imagine. Why would you want to leave? This is a really quality team. You won a World Series here. I really don't want to see them trade Evo. The only way they would do that is if they just tanked the next 2 weeks, and I don't think that's going to happen. So we need Evo for next year. How sick would it be to have DeGrom, Evo? You've still got John Gray, right? You've still got Malley. Malley is a very solid pitcher in my eyes. You have got a solid rotation if you got Evo, you got DeGrom, you've got Gray, you've got Malley, you've got some guys down in the farm maybe that could come up. I don't want to jinx Jack Leiter. I don't want to jinx Kumar Rocker. You've got those guys in tow down in AAA. Look, the pitching's going to be solid next year. The hitting isn't going to change a whole lot next year. Wyatt Langford's probably going to be even better next year. Hopefully, same thing for Evan Carter. I think next year is going to be a good year for the Rangers. So I really would like to see Texas Rangers fans only. What's up? Thanks for joining. I would really like to see CY maintain the big picture mentality. Now, with some of these guys on one-year contracts, Robertson, Yates, look, if the Rangers blow it the next 2 weeks, you do need to get some value out of some of these one-year contracts. As much as we love some of these one-year deal guys, Lorenzen, Yates, Robertson, there's no reason to hold on to those guys, in my opinion, this year if you are like 10 games, 15 games under 500 halfway into July, 3 weeks into July. I think Evo is a piece you want to try and keep at all costs. He's a leader in the clubhouse. Robertson and Yates, there's no guarantee those guys are going to re-sign next year. I'm sure they're loving their time in Texas. Who wouldn't? Texas Rangers franchise, top-notch franchise, World Series champs. Who wouldn't love it in Texas? But you know what I mean. Those guys are having all-star years. They're going to want to get paid next year. I mean, agree? They're going to want to get paid. So I'm not counting on Robertson and Yates sticking around like on some team-friendly deal. I mean, that would be nice, but I'm not going to pretend. This is a business. If Robertson and Yates keep having the seasons that they're having all the way into September, hopefully October, those guys are going to want top dollar next year. And I don't know if CY in the front office is going to want to pay up. I think they're going to try and do what they did this year. Piece together, go get some like good veteran relief pitchers with experience and try and tweak a couple of things with their game and hopefully repeat the Robertson and Yates season with somebody else. Let me get to another comment here. For anybody listening, I'm going to read them out to you. Leiter needs to be traded. Problem is his value is low right now because we've seen what he's done in the bigs now. Look, last year, I think you guys remember, Shohei Ohtani was on the block, or at least the Angels were flirting with him being on the block. And at that time, I said they need to be willing to trade Leiter and maybe a couple other guys, not like, Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford necessarily. They had just drafted those guys. But I said, let's trade Leiter and let's trade some of these other pitchers that clearly do not look like they are going to dominate at the major league level. And let's see if we can go out and get Shohei. I mean, look, we didn't need Shohei last year, so it all worked out. I'm glad that the Rangers didn't listen to me last year. No reason to go get Shohei. I don't think he probably would have re-signed here. I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't think Shohei re-signs with us, even if he wins the World Series. Look, it would be nice if he would have, but at this point, I think that Leiter does need to be not untouchable in trade talks if you're going to go out and get somebody. He could improve, so it's always unfortunate. And the Texas Rangers curse. We're going to trade Leiter away. You guys know this is how it's going to go, right? We're going to trade Jack Leiter away, and then he's going to go become an ace with whatever team we trade him to. It's almost guaranteed. Almost guaranteed that is what's going to happen at this point. So I hope to be wrong, but I'm not opposed to trading Jack Leiter. Another comment here. Robertson has expressed that he wants to stay, and I have that sourced. That's awesome. If he wants to stay, I'm hopeful once again. I'm hopeful that he's not going to take us to the cleaners, because it's one thing for a guy to say they want to stay. Are they going to stay on somewhat of a team-friendly deal? Like, I'm not saying take less than what he's getting paid right now yearly. But I hope that he's willing to stay at a reasonable value. That would be ideal for us to be able to keep Robertson. I don't know Kirby Yates and how he's enjoying the Texas experience. Look, I imagine he is. It's a good locker room. There's good guys in that locker room. The front office is very, very good. Kirby Yates obviously probably had some other deals out there, chose Texas. But again, if both those guys want exorbitant contracts after having an excellent, excellent year this year, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on the Rangers. Now, let's keep on going here. Let's finish things out. So we went through the whole box score, went through the bullpen, and now I think it's time to turn our attention to tomorrow's matchup. Then we'll do a little AL West roundup, little AL West standings roundup, and we'll go from there. So for tomorrow, let's look ahead here. Rangers are going to be throwing, dramatic pause while the computer loads, Andrew Heaney. Andrew Heaney throws tomorrow, and Bradley is throwing for the Rays. And he has a 3.42 ERA. Taj Bradley, Andrew Heaney, 4.04 ERA. Andrew Heaney coming off of a pretty good start in Baltimore. Maybe his best of the year. I can't think of a better start. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 10 Ks last Sunday on Sunday Night Baseball. Hopefully Heen Dog's in a groove and he'll carry it over into tomorrow's game. But Andrew Heaney will be going against Taj Bradley tomorrow. And Andrew Heaney, some of stats over his last 7 games, 3.19 ERA, 36 innings pitched, 37 innings pitched, basically 40 strikeouts, 112 whip. Andrew Heaney is in a groove right now. Look, his last 3 starts has not given up more than 3 earned runs. 2 of those have been quality starts. The Milwaukee start was 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, so nearly a quality start from Heaney in that one. So I feel pretty confident with Andrew Heaney on the mound. The only thing with Heaney is the weird, jinxy, superstitious run support thing, for me at least. I mean, that's all me. I just feel like every time Heaney goes out there, the offense takes a dump. Just a complete dump. But look, last time out, they surely gave him some run support. So hopefully they broke the trend and they'll continue to give Andrew Heaney some run support. 5 runs would be great. 4 runs, I'll take 4 runs. I think Heaney, if he's given 4 runs, I think he can work with that, and he'll be very, very happy with a 4-run output from the offense. Considering in most of his starts this year, it was 0, 1, or 2. So hopefully Andrew Heaney get a little run support tomorrow. He is in a groove. I love what I've been seeing from Andrew Heaney of late. Let's go ahead and preview some of the matchups that each pitcher has with the opposing lineup. Not a lot of Rays collectively have seen Andrew Heaney, but there are some guys on the Rays that do have double-digit at-bats. Yandy Diaz is 3 for 10 with an RBI in his career against Heaney. And then we've got, looks like Rosario, right fielder, 2 for 10 in his career. Paredes has a home run and is 2 for 4 with a bomb in his career. And then we've got DeLuca, 1 for 2. Caballero is 1 for 7. A Rosarina, 0 for 5. And then there's several guys that have never seen Andrew Heaney. Lowe and Lowe have never seen Andrew Heaney. And then there's a couple other guys on the roster as well. So kind of a mixed bag. Maybe Paredes, you say, circle him in the lineup, watch out for him. Yandy Diaz is always kind of a guy on the Rays that you watch out for. A Rosarina, 0 for 5, and the fall off on him this year needs to be studied. 198 average for Randy Rosarina. When I saw that tonight, I was shocked. I mean, this is a guy that was absolutely electric in that 2020 season, the COVID year, when the Rays lost to the Dodgers in the World Series in Arlington. A Rosarina was like the man in that postseason. 198 average this year. The fall off needs to be studied. I could not believe sub 200 average for Randy Arozarena at this point in the year. Look, he brings a lot of excitement to the game. I don't really cheer for anybody's demise or anybody's downfall. I just cheer harder for my boys, for the Rangers. But I'll tell you what, I hope Arozarena gets right, preferably after they're done playing the Rangers. But I just think Randy Arozarena is good for the game. Kind of like Adolis Garcia. Just, I love the personality. Love the flavor that both those guys bring to the game. It's fun. It's a lot of fun watching those two guys play. I really hope Arozarena gets right after the Texas series is over. Please. Now, on the other side, Taj Bradley versus the Rangers. Looks like we have Marcus Semien 3 for 6 with a home run. So we'll probably be doing an early prediction on Marcus Semien to have a nice game. 1 for 4 tonight. Hopefully he can continue his success rebounding after the off day yesterday. And on our video that we put out before the game today, Marcus Semien, after he got his first off day, which was in the middle of the Diamondback series, the following series against the Marlins, he went 5 for 11 with 3 walks. So the off day did wonders for him earlier this year. Hopefully the same thing happens after this off day. So Simi, 3 for 6 with a bomb against Bradley, the Rays starter tomorrow in his career. Looks like we've got Jonah Heim 1 for 3, Jankowski 1 for 3, Nate Lowe 1 for 5, Corey Seager 2 for 5 with 2 RBI, Leote 0 for 3. Everybody else has not had an at-bat off of Taj Bradley yet in their careers. So I feel pretty confident looking at this matchup, considering how Andrew Heaney has thrown the ball of late. I don't think they need to score a ton of runs to get the win tomorrow. 4 would be extremely preferable. 4 runs would be extremely preferable. I think we score 4, we get the win. I don't think the Rays are going to get more than 3 off of Andrew Heaney. I would be really surprised if Andrew Heaney gives up more than 3 runs tomorrow. And I'll take my chances with the bullpen. I think the Rangers get 4 runs tomorrow. I agree. I think it's a win. So that's got to be the goal. Hopefully we can get some big knocks from Simi and Seager, who have had success off of Bradley in their careers. That's the plan. Yeah, I wonder if the Rays are out of playoff contention. You wonder if they'll start at least listening to some offers on Arozarena. I don't know. Haven't heard much. Maybe. And some guys just do need a fresh start at times to get recharged, refreshed, re-energized, and turn things around. So we'll see what happens with the Arozarena. Look, again, I don't cheer for anybody's downfall. And Arozarena, him being good, I think is good for the game of baseball as a whole. Please just get right after the Rangers series. Stay where you are for right now. Immediately after the Rays are done playing the Rangers, let's get Randy Arozarena right. Over his last 7 games, much like Andrew Heaney, it's kind of scary how identical these stats are. Taj Bradley, a little bit more of a strikeout guy than Andrew Heaney, but last 7 games for Taj Bradley, 3.13 ERA. 3.13 ERA, 37 innings pitched, 49 Ks. Bradley does walk guys with a little bit more frequency than Andrew Heaney. But Bradley, against the Nationals last time out, 5 2/3, 11 strikeouts. So Bradley does strike guys out. He is a guy that gets the swing and miss. We are susceptible to the swing and miss against these types of guys. Hopefully we can get a few big knocks tomorrow, and we can get out to that 3-4-0 lead and cruise from there with our good pitching. That's the game plan. I think that's the blueprint for a W tomorrow. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and let's look at the scores from around the AL West that are going on tonight or that have already ended. The Orioles are beating the A's right now in Oakland. So they were just in Seattle. I think they won that series against the Mariners. The Orioles did. So the Orioles are just doing a little AL West tour right now. They played the Rangers, then they went to play the Mariners. Now they're playing the A's. So The Orioles beating the A's 3-2 in Oakland. That game is in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Mariners are beating the Blue Jays 2-1 going into the bottom of the 8th. That game's in Seattle. So the Blue Jays last at bats coming up in the top of the 9th. Mariners leading 2-1 in Seattle. And then games that have already gone final. The Astros did beat the Twins in a high-scoring affair. 25 runs scored in that game, Astros-Twins. Astros win 13-12 in Minneapolis. And then beyond that, I think we have covered all the AL West. Yes, we have. Oh, Angels. They lost today to the Cubs. Angels have dropped a few games in a row now. They are now 36-51. Angels are in Chicago right now for a 3-game set. Now the standings. So in the AL West, the Mariners currently 1.5 game lead. With a win, I think they would push that back to 2. With a loss, the Mariners would only hold a 1-game lead over the Astros. With a win, the Mariners would be 8 games up on the Rangers. And with a loss, 7 games. The Angels are now 3.5 games behind the Rangers. The A's will fall to 15.5 back of first place, 8 games behind the Rangers with a loss. Angels are on a 5-game losing streak right now. A's are on a 3-game winning streak. How about it? And beyond that, Rangers in the wild card are 8.5 games out right now. So, like I said, better chance to win the division right now than to get a wild card spot. What's up, bud? Thanks for tuning in. Been a little while, I feel like. Appreciate you coming back in and tuning into a live DeGrom update. Look, there might be some people that know this better than me, but what I've heard is early August. Early August. So after trade deadline for sure. I think they're going to ease him back in if I had to guess. And it kind of probably will depend on where the Rangers are at. If the Rangers are still competitive, still in the hunt for a playoff spot, I could absolutely see them being a little bit more aggressive with him. If the Rangers are not in a playoff spot, I really don't feel like they're going to rush DeGrom back at all. Why would you? If you're not in a playoff spot in August and it's not looking good for your chances to make the playoffs, I don't see any benefit of rushing back Jacob DeGrom. Just get that guy healthy for 2025 so we can dominate in 2025. Rangers are going to have a good team in 2025, no doubt. I really feel like even if we don't make the playoffs this year, which I still think the Rangers can, but if the Rangers were to miss the playoffs this year, 2025 looks bright. If you can get Evo to return, if you can get Tyler Mahle and get Jacob DeGrom fully healthy for 2025, you're returning John Gray again as well. They've got a great starting rotation. The offense is still going to be very good. Maybe you go add a bat in the offseason. I don't know who the big free agents are. Pete Alonso. I would love, look, nothing against Nate Lowe. I would love if the Rangers would go out and sign Pete Alonso. Oh my gosh. You can still have Nate Lowe on the team. He can spell Pete Alonso here and there. We can get Pete Alonso DHing and playing first base, vice versa with Nate Lowe. I would love for the Rangers to go out and get Pete Alonso in free agency. But to bring it full circle with Jacob DeGrom, if the Rangers are in the race, let's make it competitive. If the Rangers aren't, let's not rush him, please. Here's a better update for you. Thank you so much, by the way. He's throwing curveballs from the mound in BP sessions, and they're just slow rolling him right now. Oh, sounds right. If he's going to be back in early August, yeah, I could understand, and it makes sense that he's throwing BP. You think maybe rehab start late July, early August, maybe 2 or 3 rehab starts if I had to guess. And then we bring him in, maybe do like the 3, 4, 5 inning thing and slowly build him up. I think the goal, the perfect best case scenario for DeGrom would be you slowly ramp him up in August and you get him ready to contribute in October. Just slowly ramp him up August, September, And then by October, you can get 5, 6, maybe 7 innings out of DeGrom. More if he's being efficient, but I think that's got to be the goal if the Rangers are still playing competitive baseball come August. I think that's got to be the goal. All right, last thing we're going to do is take a look around MLB, and then we're going to wrap things up because we have been going long enough. Freaking Astros on the front page, 3-game win streak. Some dude made an amazing play. Yuck. Scroll past that one. Let's see. Boston, 1 strike from defeat. Red Sox rally to stun Yankees in 10. I'm going to have to watch the replay on that one. I love watching Boston, New York. Growing up, that was the biggest rivalry in baseball. And I always love watching that series. I never really have like a one side that I like to win more than the other. Well, I don't know. It probably depends on the year. I probably find myself cheering for the Red Sox a little bit more, but it's just great baseball. I love that Red Sox-Yankees series. So that was front page. Hoskins launches another grand slam. Brewers they're winning right now 5-4 out in LA thanks to that Rhys Hoskins grand slam. Rangers fans know all about Rhys Hoskins hitting grand slams, do we not? Red hot Trey Turner, 2 homers, lifts Phils over Braves. Let me see here. 10 at bats and 10 hits. Miranda makes Twins history. 10th straight at bat with a hit for Jose Miranda of the Twins. That's pretty impressive. 10 straight hits in 10 straight at bats. My goodness, that is some kind of hot. And Astros, regardless, still end up getting the win tonight. Let's see. Pirates hit 2 grand slams to back Paul Skeens. And Alec Boehm is going to be in the home run derby. And there we go. There's the news from around the league. Y'all got anything else? I'll check comments here, and then we are going to get out of here. Let me check on... Hang on one sec. I got to keep TikTok live going. Had to do a little verification thing since we're going over an hour. We're going long tonight, but it's more fun to do that after a Rangers win. Much more fun. Where was I? Yeah, let me get a comments here. Yeah, let me check these out. Do you see us offloading any players at the deadline at the rate we're going? I think that the Rangers right now, the goal is going to be play well enough not to have to do a ton of offloading. That being said, if a team calls and the Rangers are kind of still, just like scuffling a little bit around, the 500 mark, I don't know. When I say 500, I'm like, if they're still just playing 500 baseball over the next 2 weeks, if somebody calls and makes a really good offer for a Mike Lorenzen or a Kirby Yates, if it's looking like you're not going to make the playoffs, you might want to pull the trigger on some of these one-year guys to get value for next year. Hopefully you can get some minor league talent that's going to be major league ready sooner rather than later, because the Rangers window's right now. This is the Rangers window. It's disappointing if the Rangers don't make the playoffs this year, but the Rangers window's wide open. The window is right now. So I would like to see the Rangers hold on to as many guys as possible. I hope that they do not have to trade, but if they do, it's going to be some of the guys that are on one-year contracts. The notable ones, Evo, Heaney. You've also got the bullpen guys. You've got Yates, Robertson, and Lorenzen as well from the starting rotation. So we'll see. I don't think Scherzer is going to have a lot of value at the trade deadline. Maybe if Scherzer pitches this well, like he's been pitching all the way through July towards the trade deadline, but Scherzer has a no-trade clause. So you would have to have Scherzer approval in order to execute that trade. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope that they play well enough where they don't have to offload. Paul Skeens, 70 Ks in 9 starts. That is very, very impressive. My goodness. Yeah, I got to see him pitch live in St. Louis. I was traveling for work and got to see a Cardinals game. He happened to be pitching, and it was a lot of fun. That dude is the real deal. And he has won pretty much every start that he has pitched in the big leagues. It's pretty crazy. Here's another comment. Don't forget Leote's expiring contract. He's the best position piece besides Duran. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how many teams would really have interest in him. Could you get something for Leote? Probably. They need to get Zeke Duran right, though. I know the demotion was a little controversial among Rangers fans, especially when you considered like Davis Wenzel was still up on the big league club while Duran was not. But I would really like to see Duran get right. Would really like to see that. Now, let me check out the start time for tomorrow. I'm assuming probably a day game start tomorrow, but maybe not. Let me check this out here. So, tomorrow's game, we will be playing 3:05 Texas time start, 1:05 out here in Vegas. So, you do the math on that. We'll try and go live as quickly after the game as we possibly can. Hopefully, after another Rangers win. That's the goal, y'all. That is the goal. All right. Let me go ahead and call this one a night. I want to say thank you to everybody for the support tonight. Ton of comments in the chat. A lot of good stuff. Really, really appreciate you guys. I already said this, but if you're not following or you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do so you can stay up to date with all of our latest and greatest content, plus get notified anytime we go live. Would love to have you guys back. Every post game we're here chatting about anything Rangers baseball. Please come back again soon. Or if you're watching on the replay, join us live sometime. We go live after pretty much every Rangers game. And if you know somebody that loves baseball, is a big Rangers fan, tell them about the channel. Tell them about the account. Share this video with them. Share one of my reels or shorts with them. I would be very, very grateful. And y'all, as I always say, at the end of every podcast, God bless and go Rangers. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Friday night and a great weekend ahead. Hope to see you soon.